Hi, welcome to Sophie Cooks 09. Today we're going to be making vanilla cream chocolate cupcakes. These are going to be topped with a vanilla cream butter cream cheese frosting. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is, in this bowl I already have pre-measured 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Hasn't been sifted or anything. The next thing we're going to add to the bowl is 1 cup of granulated sugar, which I have in this bowl. Go ahead and add that in. We're going to add a half a teaspoon of baking soda. That's what I have in here. And a quarter of a teaspoon of kosher salt. Or table salt, whatever you have is fine. It's a quarter of a teaspoon of that. And with a whisk, we're just going to whisk in our ingredients until our ingredients are well mixed and well incorporated. And I don't like to sift the ingredients because the recipe doesn't call for you to sift. But I like to mix it with a whisk because it gets a finer consistency for the final product. Okay, now that's already mixed. Now let's move over here to the stove. Now the next part of this is going to be to add to a small saucepan. I have a small saucepan right here. I'm going to do this in the back burner. We're going to heat this up and we're going to add to that half a cup of water to the saucepan. Set this aside. A half a stick of butter. And this is just regular unsalted butter. So set that aside. And we're going to heat these two up together. The butter and the water. And you just want to stir this mixture up until the butter gets completely melted. And then once that happens, we're going to go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And this is just, you can use a Dutch processed cocoa powder, but I'm just using a regular cocoa powder, and the one that I have here in the bowl, it's extra dark cocoa powder from Hershey's. But you can use whatever you want, and that's 3 tablespoons of that. We're just going to go ahead and finish melting our butter. And you want to start with room temperature butter so that it'll melt quicker. But if you don't have the butter out of the refrigerator or you forgot, it's just going to take you a little longer to melt the butter, but not too much. So I'm just going to keep stirring this until the butter completely melts. It's almost getting there. So just keep stirring it until it's completely melted, and then we'll add our 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And try to stir gently so that you don't get butter all over the stove, because I've done that before. So just stir it nice and gently. And I'm using a heat-safe spatula for this. Or you can just use a clean wooden spoon if you don't have a spatula that's heat resistant. And the reason why we're making these delicious vanilla cream cupcakes is because it's my parents' 32nd anniversary. And instead of making them a cake like I do every year, I decided to make them cupcakes. Because cupcakes are all the rage. So we're going to go ahead and now add our cocoa powder now that that's all good and melted. I'm going to add our 3 tablespoons of that. And you just want to mix that up until the cocoa powder is completely blended into the butter and water. And you basically just want to bring this up to a boil so that everything gets well incorporated and well mixed. You just want to keep stirring this until all of your cocoa powder is completely dissolved. Okay, and then that should happen fairly quickly. Once your butter melts, that should happen fairly fairly quick. And I do it in about a 5, or in this case it would be a medium to high heat, so that way I don't have to spend too long here waiting for that to get going. So stir up the heat just a little bit for time's sake. So here we go. That should be nice and completely incorporated and melted. Okay. I will just wait for that to come to boil. Like I said, that should come to the boil fairly quickly, so. Okay, now while that comes to the boil, we're going to go ahead and move back over here for a second so I can show you the next procedure so we can move along. The next procedure we're going to do is we're going to make some sour milk for this. Now you can just use straight up buttermilk if you want, but don't use a powder kind because it won't work for this particular recipe. But I don't always have buttermilk on hand, I should say. So, and a good alternative for that is sour milk. I have less than a quarter of a cup of milk in here. It's about an eighth or less than. We're going to add about a tablespoon of distilled white vinegar. You wanna, sometimes it takes a little more than, but just add it until you get a fourth a cup of milk. So that should just about do it. A little more here and there, but okay. So there we are. So that was about a good tablespoon of distilled white vinegar. And that's just gonna curl the milk and get it to where it's buttermilk consistency. Okay, now we're gonna move back over here for a second so I can show you what's going on at the stove. This has already come up to the boil, so we're gonna turn that off. And I like to give it one last stir just to ensure that everything is well incorporated and well blended. Okay, now let's bring this with us. And we're going to now begin our procedure. Now, I should be smart about this. Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to grab something to set this on because it's fairly hot. So we're just going to set this aside for a second. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add our dry ingredients. And that was the flour, sugar and baking powder mixture. Okay. Now we're just going to go ahead and dump this all in to the bowl. Now you can use a spatula to help you dump everything in. Okay. And you can either do this in a handheld mixer, but I find it easier just to do it in a KitchenAid. Here we go. Okay. So I'll just finish adding all that in. Okay. Okay, there we go. Let's see. And now we're going to go ahead and add our cocoa, water, and butter mixture. Be careful when you add it because, like I said, it is fairly hot. Add that in with your spoon. Okay, let me see. And now we're going to go ahead and mix this on, I would turn on low speed just so that you don't get flour flying everywhere, since I don't have the flour shield. So let's plug that in. Now we're just going to go ahead and blend it. And just want to blend it until it's well incorporated. Helps if you stop it and scrape the sides, so that way you get everything well incorporated. And right now your batter is going to be fairly thick, but it will be runnier once you get done with it. So here we go. Let's put that back on and finish the blending. Okay, that's perfect. Now, the next thing we're going to add to this is an egg. Just one egg. And everything you add, you want to mix it in before you add anything else. So let's blend in our egg. And now, while the mixer is running, we're going to add our sour milk. And you can just dump that in a lot more. Okay. And then let's turn the heat up a little bit. Just so that it can blend quickly. And the flavoring that we're going to add to this is going to be vanilla or almond or something like that. Stop this for a second. We're going to add vanilla cream flavoring. This is what I have here. And this is like a candy flavoring. And I'm going to add about 20 to 30 drops because you really want to taste the vanilla cream. And if you don't want to do this with vanilla cream, you can just do this with plain vanilla. That's fine too. But I would suggest using a really high quality vanilla extract like Mexican vanilla or vanilla from Madagascar. Okay, and that's already all blended and ready to go. So we're going to remove our beater and remove our bowl from the mixer with my spoon. I'm going to remove the excess batter off of the beater because you don't want to waste any of this good batter. Okay. And now we just give it one last mix with the spatula just to ensure that everything is well incorporated and that you don't have any flour granules. Okay, and that's perfect. And now we're going to take this and set it over here because I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Allow me to get the batter. So here's our batter. Let's set this over here. Okay, and in this beautiful green box that I have over here, I'm going to show you what I have in here. This is my decorating box. I've made a kit for myself. And here I have baking cups. I have some really pretty ones, and I also have some plain white ones. Okay, I'm going to use both, a little bit of both. So here we go. I'm going to set this aside. And open these. Take out our cups. And we're just going to go ahead and put these in the wrapper. Put these in the cup. And I just have a 12 muffin tin. Because this makes 12. So. And I just had a mixture of baking cups. That's why. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and finish lining our cups. And this particular batter makes 12. So 12 good sized cupcakes. I set these here. Okay, and there we go. And now all we're going to do is just fill up our batter. And we're going to put it in the oven. We're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to cook these for about 12 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. And in the next part of our video, second part, keep watching. For the second part of the video, we're going to make our vanilla cream cheese frosting. And then we'll see how the cupcakes turned out. So if you'd like to know how the cupcakes turned out, please watch the second part of the video. Thank you.